that people have absolutely nothing to do on a Saturday night, and they're subscribers of my YouTube channel, because I do have about 150 subscribers, or you're my friend on Google+. This is actually just a private test hangout using Webinar Jam for the first time between me and Sally Black. So we're recording this. We're hoping to, if we get any golden nuggets and pearls of wisdom out of this little hangout session, that we could play it back for our travel agent coaching clients in the $1 Million Group system. So that's the intent of this. But if you happen to be coming upon this live broadcast either through Google Plus or through YouTube, you probably won't understand anything that we're talking about. You'll be bored and you will leave. But if you're our target audience and you love us and you're members of the $1 Million Group system for travel professionals, you might just want to stay tuned, because Sally Black from Vacation Kids, all the way from Kunkletown, Pennsylvania, went even further to Boston, Massachusetts last week, a few days ago. She actually double-dipped after going to my workshop in Las Vegas, then flew to Boston to fry her brain even further with all sorts of incredible information from HubSpot's Inbound Marketing 2014 convention, which was a big shindig, and she's all excited. Now look at me. No captain's hat. I'm wearing a T-shirt. I haven't shaved in 2 days. I'm under the weather. But when it comes to a brain dump, I'm up for it. So I rescheduled all weekend plans to get on the hangout with Sally. And what T-shirt am I wearing? I'm easy to please as long as I get my way.
Love it. Love it.
Really, I think I borrowed Phyllis's shirt. That's definitely not my shirt. Okay, but anyway, here to get her way in the brain dump, ladies and gentlemen from around the world, Miss Sally Black.
How are you doing tonight?
How do we get over to you? We just click here, and now you're up.
When we do this internally, normally when one person speaks, then the other one, gets the big picture up top, and the little picture goes down to the bottom. But I don't know how it is that, when it's just 2 people online. Usually we have 5 or 6 agents on the call at the same time, and as one person speaks, then they get the big picture up top.
So let me try that. I'm speaking now, but I still see you up on the top. I don't see the big picture switcheroo unless I click like this, and now I see myself in the big picture. You want to try?
Okay. All right, let me try. Let me see if that makes a difference here. Okay, maybe that's it. Like I say, normally it automatically clicks back and forth when one of our agents talks. So I'm not 100% sure. Like I say, maybe if there's only 2 people online, that's all that needs to be done. They don't have to shift back and forth.
So Sally, tell us, what are the top 3 takeaways, the most exciting revelations that you brought back from Boston and Inbound Marketing? Actually, before you do that, no, let's do that, and then I want to hear the top 3. Let's start out with this. Okay. What are the top 3 takeaways, if you still remember back to last week, from the Next Level workshop that I ran for the $1 Million Groups members? So give me your takeaways from my weekend, and then we'll go to your top 3 from Boston.
Oh, geez, you put me on the spot, Lou. How can I just say 3 top things? Because it was mind-boggling, all the stuff that you taught us. I think the #1 biggest thing that I was so proud of, first of all, let me back up a minute. First of all, it's been a very, very, very long time since I've been in a room of such great people. I mean, every single one of our agents, I mean, normally you go to one of these conventions and it's like, I'd rather stay in my room sometimes than mingle with some of the crowd that's there. Everybody, it was like we were all instant best friends. I don't know if that had to do with you and the webinars, but I all felt like everybody knew everybody, straight away. So just everybody that I got to spend time with, and I was there, and it was way too short. That was the one critique I have, and I think everybody said that too. It was just way too short because there was just so much to cover and so much people getting together with one another. So that, I guess, was the one big takeaway, I would say. The second thing I was so proud to see was that everybody you know, mustered up the gumption and got up there, and just about everybody did their presentations, which in the beginning I know everybody online was, you know, complaining a little bit that they were afraid to do that. And by and large, everybody knocked it out of the park. You know, it was really a nice feeling, and I think a lot of people sort of got over themselves with the presentations. I mean, I thought that was great. And last but not least, I got to say thank you, Lou, for the night out at Planet Hollywood. I guess that was a really good highlight for me. I really enjoyed it because I'm sort of the type of person, whenever I go to a conference, I'm the one who goes back to my room and does more work and email, so I never usually get out on the town or do anything. So that was just a wonderful night. So I think those were my personal top threes. And even since just
that's
last
awesome.
week, like, people have been chatting on the Facebook page and helping each other with the new system, and it was just a really good time. I'm so thrilled I went. So thrilled I was able to make it.
Now, as we are doing this, it occurs to me that I'm violating one of the biggest rules of doing any kind of webinar, even if it's just the two of us right now, and that is I'm using Wi-Fi rather than a hardwired Ethernet cable. So what I'm going to do is reach down over here and find this blue wire, and try to plug it in, so we get a better broadcast signal. So, okay, here we go. I'm going to do that. Back on.
You know what, Lou? That seemed to
clear ourselves, don't we?
That seemed to clear up the picture quite a bit. Hold on. You're jiggling around there, but it seemed when you plugged it in, we got a little bit. No, maybe not.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see. Maybe, maybe not. But what? Wait a second. Let me just do this here. I'm at my dining room table, as you can see, in a T-shirt, unshaven. Now, Sally, thank you. I just want to comment. Yes, we have a wonderful, wonderful group, which made my job and my life a lot easier with those warm, wonderful people that we have as members in the $1 Million Group system. There's really a terrific bunch, and 3 days isn't enough, and that's why next year we probably have to turn it into a mastermind vacation for a full week, where we can pace ourselves and learn a little bit and then go have fun, and learn a little bit more and then go have fun. Exactly. We'll try to maybe we'll make that happen. That would be really cool. Yeah, I enjoyed the Saturday night out with everybody as well, especially since I was overloading people with homework. And I agree, it was wonderful to see mostly everyone. There were a couple of people that didn't do the presentations or didn't do the video emails, but mostly everyone got up and did it. Those of you that didn't, you know, it's okay. Plenty of time. Rome wasn't built in a day. But what I'm really impressed about is that after those 3 grueling days with me in Vegas and all the learning and all the homework and all the fun, you double dipped. You got right on the plane, went to Boston for what, 3 or 4 more days of information overload, lots of excitement, and I can't wait about inbound marketing in Boston. So take it away. Let's hear your top 3 highlights from there, and do dump on us all that brilliance that you learned.
Oh, my head is still just spinning from everything that went on there. I will say this. This is my 3rd year that I've attended Inbound. The first year was a lot of small companies. And what I've seen grow over the last 3 years, and when I went 3 years ago, there was 3,000 people in attendance. This year, there was over 11,000 people there on Tuesday. Wow. So it has grown into that. It's sort of grown into a complete and entire revolution. And basically, the idea of it is all about inbound content, meaning that if you put your story out there, your expertise out there in the form of blog posts and videos and whatever sort of graphics, like Guy Kawasaki was there from Canva talking about how to make the perfect post to put out on social media. The 3 women who wrote Twitter for Dummies were there giving a whole presentation on how to use Twitter to your advantage, and a lot of tricks and shortcuts that I had no idea. Twitter's like a whole separate language that I'm learning my way through. But the whole premise, or if I say drink the Kool-Aid when it comes to inbound marketing, has to be that you put your blog out there, you put your information out there, you just give and give and give all of your knowledge, your expertise, and the idea is people will come searching for information. If you think about it yourself as a consumer nowadays, if you want to buy a new washing machine or a new car or a new garden hose, we go to Google and we search out what it is that we're looking for, and we look at reviews. Darnesh and Brian, who are the two men who created the HubSpot platform, Brian came out with a fantastic quote. He says, it used to be where companies would advertise, buy me, buy me, buy me, with all TV ads and stuff. And he says now, we've become a nation of Yelpification, meaning that we search from one another to find brands and companies that we want to deal with, and we look at the information that they put out there, and that is what consumers decide whether they trust you or not. So that's the whole idea in a nutshell of what inbound marketing is about. And the interesting thing this year is that most of the people, just about everybody that I met, was from an ad agency, and I went to about 6 different presentations about sort of what we were talking about at your seminar, Lou, about how to give a good presentation, but these were all from big-time ad agency executives like Saatchi & Saatchi and Ogilvy's and DDB Needham. These are all guys who wrote the book on how to do like multi-million-dollar pitches, how they pitched Nike or how they pitched Procter & Gamble to get that advertising business, and how they're doing it now in the digital age with inbound. And so that's the whole marketing side of it. Then there was a whole nother side of it which had to do with the sales process and how do you convert people nowadays. So it's not just sending out a quote, like, okay, you want to go to, on a Royal Caribbean cruise, this is how much it's going to cost you, and out it goes, and then you call back a couple days later, hi, this is travel agent so-and-so following up, and then a few days later, hi, this is travel agent so-and-so, you didn't call me yet. It's not that type of follow-up anymore. What they're saying is that when somebody asks us for information, we do research on them, and we look for them on social media, and we friend them on Google, or we friend them on LinkedIn, or connect with them on Twitter, and then we watch what they're saying and watch the conversation. So to pardon my French, the way they put it is a lot of people who are using inbound expect they're going to get laid on the first date, and that doesn't happen. If you want to build a relationship, it's a little bit of a dance or a tango, and that's how you earn people's trust, and then they become your advocate, and that's how they fall in love with you. So that's sort of in a nutshell what the conference was about, but the only problem was with 11,000 people there was probably about 12 or 15 seminars going on all at the same time, and each and every one of them had like golden nuggets that you wished you could get to hear and see. So it was difficult trying to pick, like which child do you love the best, like which one do you really want to go and see. So that was the only problem, but it was just the little bit that I went to was just utterly amazing, really, really good stuff, and I think very applicable to all of what we're trying to do in the travel business today as well.
Well, Sally, you just said something really interesting. You said a lot of interesting things. I 100% believe that for myself, for my own business, I make friends with the majority, almost all of my clients. If I have 2,500 clients through all my groups and group leaders, they're all on Facebook, they're all on Twitter, they're all on LinkedIn. I friend them, they friend me. They know what's going on with me as a person. I try to find out as much as I can about them, so that the social networking becomes social marketing. So I think. And
can I jump in here? One of the things that they said the other day was with social media, which I didn't know either. They said it should be 411. It should be for like almost personal things or things that you find funny or amazing or interesting. One like interesting tidbit about your industry, and then one salesy type of a post. So they said when you're thinking about social media, make it 411, which I thought was a good tip that I didn't know before either.
That's an excellent tip. And when you talk about going from 38 people in the room to 11,000 people in the room. You know, I've attended a lot of these seminars and conventions. Nothing as big as this 11,000 person event you just went to, but I will say I like the intimacy. I like extrapolating what I learned in the marketing world and internet online automation, and then bringing it to our core audience as it applies to the travel professional. So I'm assuming that you were able to do the same thing, that you're going there. Really, there's no one doing a presentation about how you use anything for travel agents, but really these are golden nuggets that apply to all businesses. But
although I do have to laugh, and I did not see this seminar. I was in another one, but I was at dinner with somebody who and I just let her go. I let her tell me the whole story. But apparently, the advertising company for Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines was there, and they actually presented Royal Caribbean as a case study. And I wish I would have been in this one. I wish I could, you know, do a do-over and go through this one. And the whole thing was Royal Caribbean hired this new digital marketing company because they say the problem that they're having is not getting people to book Royal Caribbean. Now, we're talking directly with the cruise line now, okay? The problem is, you know, that they're doing okay with direct customer bookings, but the problem is every time they offer a sale or shipboard credit or whatever it is, they have breakage. People cancel their reservations and then rebook so that they can get the deal. And what Royal Caribbean has found doing their, you know, internal research is that if they get somebody to book and then they immediately get them engaged with shore excursions, then they won't cancel if there's a sale. So they hired this advertising company just to try to get people to like do their embarkation information right away and book their shore excursions right away so that they would have some more glue and stickiness to keep them on board, which I found fascinating because look at how many times we as travel agents, you know, if there's a sale, we'll go and adjust the reservation or adjust the booking and we keep happy customers. But Royal Caribbean won't do that for its own customers. So I thought that was very interesting.
A long time ago, I learned that unless you have a real shopper that's monitoring the prices on a regular basis and you have to refare them downwards if the price drops, is that you don't really have to do that. People made a deal with you for this cruise or vacation, and if you go buy a toaster, you don't go back 3 months later and say, oh, it's $2 cheaper, I'm going to go to the store and see if I can get my $2 back. Well, some people might, but we really don't have an obligation to lower those prices that people have already agreed to. And so a couple of years ago, I thought to myself, if we have event overage and it's a special event, then that spread of the lower price to the price that they booked on is now additional commission for me. Not wanting to just you know, take everything for myself, maybe we can get them an upgrade or an onboard credit or some extra amenity, but also put myself as the agent in a better position to make a little bit more profit as well. Why should I give back the entire spread from the old price to the new price when no one's asked for it? Now,
exactly. And I will say this on a group situation, Lou, I think you're absolutely 100% correct. On what I look at it is if you're doing like a onesie, twosie FIT, a lot of times if you can call up an aid, like especially if it's the first time you're dealing with somebody, you know, let's say you can save them $100 or $50. I sort of look at that as my advertising dollars because if I call somebody up and say, hey, you know, they just had a sale and I called them and I adjusted it so your rate is $100 less, it's not going to cost me a hell of a lot of commission. But the goodwill, you know, all I do is when I call them up, I'll say, hey, listen, go tell 3 of your friends what I did for you. That's all I ask. And that's a good, you know, to me, I look at that as advertising dollars well spent.
Well, you make a very good point, and this reminds me of, you know, because especially on a first-time onesie, twosie, you want to win a client for life. So yes, I will go overboard for them. Yes, I will refare for them, show them how much I save. But another thing that I did yesterday in finalizing my Christmas group on the Norwegian Epic with a friends and family group, the group leader asked me, can you check prices before you finalize to see if there's any additional perks you can get us or upgrades or better price? And I said, I always do that, absolutely.
I do too.
what we found out yesterday when I finalized this nice group of friends and family for the Epic is that the promotion we got them in on a few months ago, for the cabins they have now already been upgraded to, if we went and priced those BA balconies, triples and doubles that they have, the price not per person but per cabin, it's more dramatic when you tell them the difference per cabin. For their exact cabins that they wound up in, is $840 per cabin more right now, $420 per person higher if they went to book that BA balcony yesterday than when they booked it with me. So more important than the bottle champagne or $50 onboard credit, which we're surprising them with, by the way, didn't even tell them about it. But more important than that is I'm letting them know in writing as well as verbally, letting everyone in the group know, by the way, we checked prices. And today, your upgraded cabin, as part of this group, not even counting all the amenities that we're getting for you, is an additional $840 more if you went online to Norwegian right now and booked that Christmas cruise for your cabin. It would be $840 more per cabin. And that's what we did, and that's the deal we got for you. So I hope you're happy now, and they are thrilled.
And you know what, Lou, jumping back to what we were saying about social media, a lot of times, I know even for myself, you know, you have a blog post due and you're like, what the heck am I going to write about today? You can't think about it. Same situation I had last year. I have a web post, a blog post of mine that says how to save $4,500 on your next vacation. And I have a picture of Lucille Ball like this, and I said, let me explain it to you, Lucy. And I went through about how we had two families who were from Detroit, and the one family booked it was a family of 5, and they booked their all-inclusive down in Mexico, and they booked it in September for spring break, and I had all the prices and everything. And they had a neighbor come to us, same thing, same family, the kids were just about the same ages, wanted to also book the same hotel, and we gave them the rates, and they go, no, we're going to wait and get a last-minute deal. Well, by the time they came back to us, which was maybe about 6 weeks prior to departure, and we booked everything out, we couldn't get them the nonstop flights. The flights had jumped, extraordinarily, huge price increase in the flights. The hotel was they had to get an upgraded room now because availability wasn't there. And I have a whole blog post about how we did the 2 price exchanges, and it was $4,500 more just because they wanted to wait. So every time now when I have somebody who balks and says, well, we're going to wait till it gets a little closer, I'll say, put your deposit down now and we'll watch for prices and stuff. And I send them that blog post. And that's another big takeaway from Inbound Conference too. By having all these types of blog posts and teachings and frequently asked questions, it's called assignment selling. So if somebody comes to you and you want information, you give it back to them. But then before they get anything more from you, you give them an assignment, and you tell them, go read this blog post, or let's sit down and we'll do a consultation. But here's 3 things that you can do in Jamaica, for excursions, and I want you to read this. So when we do our consultation, we can decide which type of sightseeing you want. Now, my software, I work on HubSpot, and I can check to see if they've actually gone in and read the information, done their homework, and gone in and seen the videos and things that I've told them to. So I have that advantage. But that was another big plus that they were talking about with clients, is give your clients homework, because the more you get them interactive and engaged, the better chance you have of closing and converting that sale.
I completely agree, and with MaxLead Pro's new software, they also have analytics that track how many people have viewed your video or your opt-in page, how many people have taken the action you need them to do. Maybe not as sophisticated as the HubSpot analytics, but the bottom line is you do want to engage and give people things to do so they participate. Each point of participation is funneling the sale towards a yes, or funneling referrals towards more people.
Pull selling. You got to pull them into you.
Pull instead of and push. Look what I did. Look what I did at the live event in Vegas. And by the way, some people said to me it would be nice if we had breakout sessions. And I'm always worried, just like the story you just told, you wish that you were in the Royal Caribbean session. There's a dozen breakout sessions happening at a big event, and you're in one that won't be repeated again. And now, meanwhile, there's golden nuggets happening in the Royal Caribbean session. So I kind of have this issue with breakout sessions that it breaks people away rather than puts them together into little groups. although I admit that we do need some kind of way going forward to figure out people's different levels. You know, whether someone's advanced or intermediate or just getting started, how do we have everybody all on the same page? That's definitely an issue.
I will say the other thing that Inbound or HubSpot does, you know, HubSpot is the company, Inbound is the name of the conference, so I sort of use them interchangeably. But they do record every single solitary session that goes on there, you know, like TV, like you did too, with the video team in there. And then they edit them, and then they put them up, you know, as blog posts or content throughout the year promoting the next year's Inbound session. So you do get the opportunity, and I'm on all the alerts on the video channel, so whenever anything new comes up, and most of this information that HubSpot puts out there, which I find amazing, they put it out there, so it's pretty much free. A lot of the seminars, they've already posted up their slide decks for their presentations and things like that. So even that was educational, like looking at it not only for the content presented, but how did they do their slides? And like you were saying, a lot of them were using really big, bold print when they did their PowerPoint presentations and their slide shares. So a lot of graphics. So even from that standpoint, you learn a lot to see good presentations, bad presentations. Like Martha Stewart was the keynote this year, and she absolutely sucked. Like Twitter was beating her up so bad because she got up there and for like, you know, 45 minutes talked about Martha, 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 and didn't explain, you know, when in fact her company is named Omni Media, and she is a queen of taking, you know, the color of her chicken eggs and turning that into a paint color and doing a magazine spread on it. She didn't go into any of that. It was just like, look how wonderful, and I made green juice up here on stage for everybody. You know, so, but with social media, boy, did that blow up really quickly. It was kind of scary. But all of that will be recorded and is up on their YouTube channel, so you can watch a lot of these. These are people that wrote the book, you know, did a lot of this pioneering. It was pretty interesting.
You know, one of the things, Sally, that I think HubSpot gets is something I learned many years ago from a mentor of mine named Alex Mendosian, and he said, move the free line to the right because of something called the law of reciprocity. You see, even though HubSpot will post most of the content that was generated at their live event, they will post the recordings, a lot of it for free. If people get this information for free, why would they want to attend a live event? Why would 11,000 people come to Boston to learn more? And I believe if you move the free line to the right, meaning if you deliver 80% of your best stuff, without asking for anything in return, like we're doing here right now. This was unscheduled. We're not charging for it. I'm recording it. We'll put it in the members area, or we'll broadcast it on Tuesday night. I'll figure out what to do because it's a good brainstorming session. And what happens is, it's people will still want to join my program, even more so. Agents will absolutely want the next time we get together, whether it be a workshop or whether it be on a cruise ship as a mastermind vacation.
Yeah, but you know, Lou, I'm going to interrupt you right there because the stuff that you teach in your seminar isn't taught anywhere in the travel business. And you and I both believe in cross-training, meaning that to be a good business person, you have to learn not only from your own industry, the travel industry, but you got to learn from people who are good business leaders or good, you know, presenters or good marketers. So it's cross-training. You don't only go to conferences in your own industry, but you go to other conferences to learn, and you take bits and pieces and golden nuggets from here and there, and it makes you a bigger, better, stronger business person. So you and I are on the same page about that. And so because you and I both have that outward experience, you and I both know, and I'm sure the people in our group realize now, the stuff that you're teaching the agents is not stuff that you get at a typical travel agency conference, you know, far and above what you get in a travel agency conference. They don't teach you software. They don't teach you how to do presentations. They don't teach you how to close big things. And I have to say, you know, even though I've had this other experience, you know, I went and did a couple pitches at the conference, and you know, you gave me a lot of confidence that I didn't have. And you know, so it's different. It's a different type of learning that you offer to the travel agents.
I appreciate those kind words, Sally. When I told some friends of mine that I wanted to make my C day in the ABC, instead of communication or closing skills, I wanted to call the C confidence. And one of my mentors said to me, Lou, you cannot teach or instill confidence in people. Confidence is something that's a kind of a weird thing. And I disagreed. I think that we can inspire people to be more confident by getting, really what I was doing on day 3 in our workshop in Vegas, more than communication or closing skills, was giving each of us the confidence to get up and just do a little 8-minute presentation. Another C, to become comfortable doing this. Like we're doing right now. The technology, we may not have figured out the technology.
But practice makes perfect.
Right, but practice makes perfect, and the rest will come later. I was speaking to one of our other members who felt a little bit shortchanged that we didn't have as much workshop on MaxLead Pro as they had hoped. Actually, 2 people said this to me, because we had basically a day from the late morning of day 1 to the late morning of day 2, and then we moved on to the branding and then the presentations and all the other things.
But you know, Lou, I'm going to stop you again. That MaxLead Pro software is very similar to what I've been using on HubSpot. A lot of the features are very, very similar. And I have to tell you, it's taken me 3 years to really be comfortable and learn my way around that software. And a lot of it, same as with MaxLead Pro. There's webinars online. They have live webinars with they call them the marketing profs up there. And so, you know, I'm always investing my time to teach myself. And it's really hard to get up, you know, to sit down and expect to learn software in 1 day's time. You have to prioritize what's the most important thing you need to get done now, and step by step by step. Rome wasn't built in a day, like you said. You have to invest the time in it. And some of us, you know, are more geeky or have more experience than others, but you can't let it overwhelm yourself, you know. And to be honest with you, an extra day like that, even if we had it in an open seminar, that's not the way you learn it. You watch the seminar, you go play with the computer. If there's something not right, you watch the seminar again, try it again. If not, you call somebody, and that's how you learn it, and that's how you assimilate it, to be honest with you.
Well, I agree with you, and I feel that we had a few mini workshops. You know, we had in that 3-day event we did in Vegas, I felt that it was as important for people to get on with their presentation skills to sell one-on-many as it was actually implementing the MaxLead Pro software. And I was really very pleased that people were able to get through the wizard, were able to make video emails, video replies, and the opt-in pages. I think we accomplished a lot in the time that we were there. I don't know what else would have had to been compromised if we spent more time, let's say on day 2, with the MaxLead Pro. I think we could spend 3 weeks or perhaps even 3 years as they keep adding new features, just like with your software, to really, you know, get everything down. But I think the sales strategies and the psychology, the methodology is more important than the technology, don't you think?
Absolutely. You know, like, you have to understand why you're creating a landing page, and, you know, where to put your calls of action on the pages. To actually sit down and do it, you know, the webinars, although I must admit that, what's his name there, Roger, I went back after the seminar and I watched some of his videos, and he's like racing through it. I had to like stop and go back several times, because he's very confident and he knows what he's doing, so to him it's like second nature, and he's like, you know, as a geek, and people that aren't as geeky, it's like, whoa, Nelly, stop the presses, let me go back. But that's why you have a webinar, and you can slide the bar back, and, you know, if you have to repeat it 10 times to, you know, understand what it is he's saying, you have that there, and it's like having them there one-on-one. And if you don't, you call them, and that's how you do it. But I agree with you. I think it's absolutely, you know, much more important to understand the why and the reasons why you're marketing in such a way, and why you're using this kind of text on the page, what you're saying to your people, the mechanics of it. Like you say, you can get somebody on Fiverr, you know, ask your nephew who's 15, who probably knows how to use the clicker and you don't, you know, it's easy to get help on that sort of thing, but understanding the why and the reasons for how to sell this way, I think, are far more important.
One of the things, Sally, that was my secret agenda in Vegas, beyond the A of automation, B of branding, and C of communication and closing skills, was the C of confidence, to inspire confidence in people to become the branded expert, to take control of their sales, of their business, and to see the potential of doing one-on-many, turning groups into special events, even turning onesie-twosies into groups. I was having a conversation with another member about just that. Just, you know, I take two people, or people want to book 2 rooms or 2 cabins, and try to turn it into 20. Just using the technology, but also the confidence of selling strategies to get people excited to invite their neighbors and friends and family members. And, you know, we all try to do that, right? Because there's a lot more revenue from our current clients than having to go out and find new ones.
Absolutely. Upsell and cross-sell. You have to do it to every client that you have. And if you already have that trust, I said that's what we're doing with Vacation Kids versus Tag-On Trips. Because, you know, Vacation Kids, even though, you know, we're an all-purpose travel agency, we do focus on families. But a lot of times, you know, moms and dads would book other places and say, well, I didn't know you just did grown-ups. So that's why we're doing the Tag-On Trips. Once we close somebody, we'll say, hey, did you know, thank you very much for the booking. Now, how would you feel if I told you that you could have taken this trip absolutely for free? Come on over and see what Tag-On Trips is about. And it could be that some people just don't want to get in the hassle, or maybe they come from a dysfunctional family. They don't want to travel with the rest of their family. You know, that's okay too. But, you know, it might plant a seed for maybe not this year, but maybe for next year we'll do a bigger group. So I always instill that on my clients. I want them to know and understand that part and sell from there while we're looking to bring in bigger groups and other types of trips from different avenues that we connect with.
Now, Sally, I want to go back to something you talked about, that Royal Caribbean breakout session, where they're attempting stickiness after the sale, so people don't cancel, price shop, try to lower the fares because they're more committed. And I think that's something we need to do as well. And so even in my own business, when we do have the pre-cruise hotel, we're now doing that earlier so we can offer it way before final payment because people have more skin in the game. What about shore excursions that we offer privately for my group events, as well as the onesie-twosies? Let's get them committed to book those shore excursions. What about the insurance? Let them book now rather than later. What can we do to get them more invested along the road so that they're not just thinking, well, if I, you know, what if I get a better price? Maybe I'll cancel. Maybe I'll go somewhere else. But you want to have them really, really committed, and really those ancillary services that you're providing, that's in a way homework as well. You're saying, you know, just like you said, go and check this out and research this, and then let's talk tomorrow, because they're recommitting themselves every time you give them homework. But every time you upsell them with a product that they need tagged on, Tag-On Trips, tagged on to their trip, they've recommitted their commitment to you and the entire package, and not worried about getting something 5 or 10 cents cheaper.
And plus, you know, it's not about closing sales. It's about building relationships, and that's what it's all about. So if you know, if they put down a deposit and they don't hear from you for 6 or 7 months, and oh yeah, here's my handout, I need your final payment, that's not building a relationship with somebody. You know, you really need to have, you know, whether it's a little bit of an update or it's a webinar or, you know, just getting suggestions from them, you know, for different things to do, like you say with excursions or on board, explaining to them. You know, there's so many ways, and like you say, we can use automation, like even just to record a YouTube video and then send out a link, and just, you know, you record 7 or 8 videos, and once a month send out a video. You know, hi, here's my update. We're getting, you know, countdown so many days, and, you know, giving them another little thing to think about, and sending them a couple of links of articles that they could read. Or if somebody got back to you about a question, you know, so-and-so on the group had this question. You know, keeping the Facebook page alive, you know, with different, you know, social media, even if it's funny little things like kitten videos or something silly. It's just another way that they get to know you, as a recipe. It doesn't have to be travel, 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 sell, sell, sell.
Right. Just yesterday, I sent out an email reminder to my 450 people that are booked in 8 groups for my January cruise that starting next Thursday, we'll begin to charge final payments automatically to the credit card we have on file, unless otherwise advised. And they gave them a link. The link is going to a JotForm Pro form, which will now I'll change over to the MaxLead Pro forms, so they can update their credit card if they need to without having to call the office. If not, we just run their card. But in that email, it wasn't just this boring technical stuff. It was, hey, we also have our pre-cruise host hotel. Check this out. Don't forget our community where you'll meet your shipmates before we set sail. There's an active community going on Facebook. Click here to go check that out right now. And what else? What are you going to be doing in Grand Cayman? I'm going to Stingray City, and in Belize we're going cave tubing. So I'm really looking forward to go cave tubing with you, and you know, keep an eye out for our next email that will be talking about some of the exciting shore excursions that we could all do together that's being planned just for our group. So
well have fun with that cave tubing, because there's too many bats in those caves for me, Lou. So have fun with that.
No, the bats sleeping on the ceiling are wonderful. I love the bats in the belfry. But also, you know, what do I do in all of my emails in the PS, where people, you know, skim down to the PS? I say, by the way, even though we're 80% sold out, there are still a few choice cabins available. So if you have anyone else on the planet that you know that deserves to join you and all of us on this adventure of a lifetime, please send them to this link so they can book right away before the great rooms are gone and the rates go up. So would you please help us out and be an ambassador and champion of our special trip, and let people know that they've got to get their deposits in. So even at final payment, I'm still selling. I'm still remembering the selling and putting yet another link into that email. So
and all along, like even up on Facebook or on, you know, I don't know if you have a Twitter group. I know a lot of the groups we mostly do on Facebook. But like you were talking about on our webinars a few weeks back about Canva or PicMonkey, you know, you can easily grab a photo off of like Royal Caribbean or Carnival website of one of the stops that you're going to be making on excursions or shore trips or whatever, and, you know, put get a quote somewhere, you know, an inspirational quote, and put that there, and then just put, you know, whatever it is. This is the cave in Belize, you know, that we're going cave tubing in underneath. So it's a really soft sell. You're giving people inspiration, you know, like, you know, this is, you know, a new day in the life will change your mind or something like that. And you have this up, and you know, or my favorite, Tina Fey, I want to go to there. You know, it's like you put that up with a picture, and, you know, it makes people smile. And it's a little subversive soft sell, but it's not anything that you have to put a lot of brain power in. You can knock out a bunch of these in like 15 minutes, and then you have them that once a week you can put this into the Facebook group so people get reminded, you know, once a week, and, oh, I'm going out to lunch with my friend, maybe they would like to go with the cruise, you know, and it's just a constant way to be in your face without being in your face.
Absolutely, and as you said, pull marketing instead of push marketing. Now, usually when we start talking like this, I always go back to things as they apply to my business that I've been doing, or the event we just did in Vegas. So I want to let you have the last word. We're at the 45-minute mark. I don't want to go too long. You and I can probably brainstorm, have a jam. We could be up all night. Yeah, we could be up all night. This could turn into the 2-hour webinar I usually do with everyone. But I just say this is a bonus. This is a bonus. It's a Google Hangout brain dump. So the last word is going to go to you, and back from talking about inbound marketing in Boston. What an amazing event. So why don't you take about 5 minutes to just rattle through all the memories in your brain, and think if there's anything that you can extrapolate that would be applicable to all of us from inbound that you wrote down as an aha moment. You said, oh wow, I have to absolutely do this. Just like we had some aha moments in Vegas at the workshop. I think there were many aha moments, but what aha moments can you contribute from inbound? other than the high touch with social media marketing, the pull marketing, all of those things, the stickiness like we talked about with Royal Caribbean, anything else that you'd like to share that you said, wow? I think it was something you might have private messaged me about, but I was too groggy from the trip to really click through the link. Something about, now I'm forgetting what it was, so I'm just going to turn it over to you.
Oh, well, I was going to say that they've had updates in their system. So now the HubSpot system has this really cool customer relationship system where it's actually a sales tool. So if somebody wants a quote and you send them a quote, then you can schedule to when to follow back and all of that. It links into a revenue management, and it links, you know, back into your content management. So it really is the holy trinity now. But like I say, that's just the system I use. But
now I don't mean to interrupt, but you know, because we've spent the last several weeks training people and getting people up to speed on the MaxLead Pro system,
right,
which is $47 a month, 500 and change a year instead of $5,000 a year.
It's a big difference, yes.
It's a big difference. And so you use HubSpot, which is 10 times the price, but I'm sure they do a lot of different things and integrate a lot of different things. But we don't want to confuse anyone who is still getting up to speed with MaxLead Pro. I do want to say, however, whether it's like you, Sally, that has HubSpot, or someone has proprietary software from
their host agencies or stuff like that they use,
that they can use what they are already using, but they can also integrate portions of MaxLead Pro. It's because it can go in and out of, and combinable with their system. So if you just want to use video email, or you just want to use the contact database, or you just want to use the autoresponders, or you just want to use the opt-in pages, or the web pages, or blogs, or the custom forms for online booking, secure forms, those are all components within MaxLead Pro, and you want to mix and match them with a system that you already have going, that's fine. You don't have to use, like I keep saying, you could do anything, but you can't do everything, and you don't have to do everything. But you can
that was the point I was going to make. You had asked me what the link was that I sent you, and that's what I sent you. It was the keynote about the new announcements with the upgrades to HubSpot. That's what I sent you. But what you just said was what I was going to say, is that the problem is, or it's a good problem to have, but the problem is when we go to any of these seminars, just like when I left Las Vegas from your seminar, and definitely when I left Boston after Inbound, your head is just spinning with 1,000,001 different ideas. And I think what we really have to, and the problem is sometimes when we have so many things floating around inside our brains, it's like it almost creates inertia. We don't do anything because we think we have to do everything. So I think if there's any one advice to give to everybody is pick one thing, prioritize and pick one thing. If you don't know how to do the video email, or you need to go out and get a camera to do the video email, just make it a goal that by the end of next week, you're going to try one thing on the Web Pro system, or you're going to spend a half an hour, bring your soup into next to the computer and just have your lunch and make the time to do one thing, and then go back over your notes and say, okay, I've got that accomplished. What's the next, second best, biggest thing that I need to do? And focus on that, because if not, you'll get inertia and it just gets crazy, and nothing gets accomplished that way.
Also, people, your prospects and your clients, they will see your heart, they will see your passion, they will connect with that. And even if you're not perfect or not finished, whatever you're doing, they will appreciate, as it applies to them, the WIIFM principle, what's in it for me. If they see who you are, that you over-deliver, that you're heart-centered, that you're passionate about what you do, and the technology comes second, all of a sudden people will be talking about you. People right now, because we're doing this impromptu Google Hangouts just to pay it forward, to give back to the rest of our group, and in turn we help ourselves. The people viewing this, our other members, will appreciate that. If you went ahead and made an impromptu video virtual cruise night webinar about a particular trip, your audience would appreciate that. First, we have to get those audiences into contact databases, into list segmentation, so we're speaking to the right market and it's a match, and all of those other things we talked about in Vegas. But I really think just that if we over-deliver, show our heart, show that we go overboard for people, and educate them, entertain them, and of course plan the trip of a lifetime for them in ways that other agents aren't doing,
Absolutely.
we are light years ahead of all the competition. Just our own little group here. I mean, how many other travel agents right now tonight on a Saturday night at 9:20 p.m. Eastern are on a Google Hangout broadcast doing a brain dump of information so that we could grow and make ourselves better, and in turn take the other agents along with us? Not very many. Not very many are doing this.
Absolutely. You said it all, Lou. That's it. Our little group is really striving, and nobody ever grows by sitting still. You have to stretch and you have to challenge yourself, and that's how you learn, that's how you grow, and that's how you build bigger and better businesses. So, and again, don't get hung up on the technology. I know a lot of people were, a little frustrated last week trying to learn the new system. It takes time, and allow yourself that time to learn. Just remember, use all the presentation skills. If your PowerPoint goes bust, so what? Practice the one-on-one skills. Talk to yourself in the car. People just think you're talking on the cell phone anyway. Practice your routines. Practice your pitches. Practice your elevator pitches. Get better at being a good presenter. And the technology and the rest, it will all come. It will all follow.
So, Sally, I want to thank you for joining me on a Saturday night.
My pleasure, Lou.
Yeah, you're awesome. Thank you for being a constant learner and a sponge of new information, and a great sharer that you don't mind sharing. You're the one who dragged your butt over to Boston after dragging it to Las Vegas. And tell me, your husband isn't even the slightest bit jealous that you're having a one-on-one with me on a Saturday night instead of with him?
He knows. I told him I have a date with Captain Lou, and he's like, "That's okay," because he says he always wants a sugar mama. So as long as I build in a big group this year, he's fine with it.
All right, Sugar Mama Sally. We'll wrap it up on that great note, and I think this was good enough for broadcast. For prime time for our group. What do you say? Should we send this over to our group?
Sure. Why not?
There you go. It's a bonus session with a very scraggly, under the weather, still didn't get a haircut, Captain Lou.
And a busted and bruised up Sally who fell down the escalator at inbound up in Boston, that I shut down the elevators for 10,000 people for an hour. So yeah, talk about a bruised ego.
A bruised ego, and what did you do? Crack a rib? What happened?
Yeah, I cracked a rib. I fell on the escalator. This is what I do trying to walk without caffeine in the morning. This is what I get.
Oh, my goodness. All right, listen, have a great rest of the weekend. To everybody watching this back on video, this is a bonus from me and Sally, and we'll see you either on Facebook or on the next webinar. Good night, everyone.